Buckle up because it's gonna be a long one. Hey everyone, hope you're all doing okay. So today I want to discuss iOS versus Android. I know this has been done before by so many people, but I believe I can offer a somewhat different perspective, if you will. To tackle a topic like this, we need a structure. First, we're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of iOS. Secondly, we're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of Android. Thirdly, I will give my recommendations and conclusions, and I will try to explain why it does not matter, mostly when it comes to personal use cases at least. Before we begin, I do want to disclose that I have two daily drivers, a Note 9 that I'm using to film this very video and an iPhone 8 Plus. I also got an iPhone 6s and a secondary Android device that I use to experiment with developer tools and different apps. I will be pointing out the aspects that I personally analyzed. Okay, first up, well-refined ecosystem. Apple's ecosystem is the best in class. If I had to summarize the Apple tax we pay, it would be their overall polish of their products. The generic statement that you just turn it on and it works. You just pop open your AirPods and they show up on your iPhone. On Android, most of the times, I have to go manually into the Bluetooth settings and connect it there manually. There has been some effort by some manufacturers to make experience more seamless. For example, Samsung with their wireless buds lineup, but it still has a lot of catching up to do. The reason is AirPods have a fancy pants dedicated chip inside, which lets it communicate more effectively with the respective devices. Additionally, other devices like iMac and MacBook have excellent integration with other devices, and it's only going to improve. Just the fluidity of these interconnected devices convey a real sense of convenience. Second factor is software support. iPhone 6s, which was released in 2015, is getting the iOS 14 update. This is extremely impressive. Dare I say that the phone was feeling a bit sluggish due to the outdatedness of the phone and the recency of the update? There are two main reasons behind the support of old devices. First is to ensure the long-term commitment of the user towards Apple's ecosystem. The second reason is to sell their subscription-based services, as Linus also mentioned in his video. And yes, there are a lot of them. The takeaway here is that you don't have to subscribe to a particular service, you can just enjoy the update. This brings us to the third factor, value depreciation or the lack thereof. Apple devices are known to hold their prices for a significant amount of time. I'm certain that a used S20 Ultra is not going to hold up well in terms of resale value, while the competitor iPhone 11 Pro Max, Big Brother, Alpha Male Supreme steroid is not going to lose that much value. I've observed it on various marketplaces, both online and in stores. Fourth is the focus on security policies. Whenever I'm signing on a service or platform, I will be notified to put up with two-factor authentication, and I'll be told to enter the PIN from my other iDevice. Gary Explains did an amazing video pointing out that iPhones are not more secure than Android devices. Links to the mentioned videos will always be in the description. In my opinion, it's the limitedness of what users can actually do with their devices that make iPhone security policies hard to beat. These were the main advantages of iOS in my opinion. Others include, but are not limited to, iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, iCloud, aesthetics, minimalism, etc. Now let us discuss the downsides of iOS or Apple ecosystem. First up, unholy Apple tax on every single device. iMac, iPhone, iPad, in the Apple Watch, iWheels, they're just insane. They come with a pretty hefty price tag, which in some cases is just totally unjustifiable. If you compare the specifications of low and mid-end devices, they offer better specs while massively undercutting the price. Needless to say, they have established themselves as a premium brand, and we better cough up the money. Recently, Apple has been offering some comparatively better deals in terms of prices, which brings me to my second point, design. The devices have amazing build quality and the thinness of the devices is just out of this world. But what up with that notch? iPhone X was released in 2017 and to this day we have to put up with that unholy notch. For 3 iterations, they have not updated the design in a drastic and meaningful way. I know that the competitor solutions to this are very questionable and janky, but at least they're trying out there. And also, a hole punch is way less obtrusive than a notch. It's not perfect by any means, but at least it doesn't give you eye cancer. Third factor is the lack of customizability. The home screen is all that you have. Maybe it's a bit biased, but a phone that doesn't have an app drawer is like a big no for me. Android users can relate to this. You just have this home screen and it's like, where do you go from here? Even in some Android devices, the app drawer is disabled, and the first thing that I do personally is I go into the settings and I enable the app drawer. Now iOS 14 is introducing widgets, which was long overdue. But better late than never. I can confidently say that it's gonna need a lot of iterations to become competent or to come at Android level at least. Till we do, fingers crossed. Overall, I like the direction. Next up is the limitedness of the devices themselves in terms of what users can actually do with them. You want a micro SD card slot? Nope. You want to be able to connect your iPhone to your computer and copy all your files from your iPhone to your computer without iTunes or any third-party apps? Not gonna happen. You want additional functionality and side loading of apps? Not on my iWatch unless you jailbreak your pesky little device. I mean, why include an SD card when you could just pay for iCloud and you have external storage devices? Excuse me if this feels like a rant, but I like the additional functionality of the devices, and they can really come in handy when you're in a pinch. These were the main downsides of iPhones and iOS in general. Others include, but are not limited to, expensive Apple Care, expensive replacement parts, limited repairability, limited upgradability, etc. Let us unravel Android now, and for the pro side, the biggest one in my opinion is freedom. I want to completely and utterly mess up my device. I'm allowed to do so. I want to completely change the look of my phone. Yes, go for it. I want to customize it to my heart's content. The sky is the limit. Hey, I want some additional core functionality, and turns out the good folks at XDA already got me covered. I know you can just jailbreak your iPhone and do the same thing, but the modded versions and core functionality, the additional apps, are like way more in numbers than on iOS. I want a phone with the headphone jack. Turns out LG already got me covered, although I heard LG is not gonna have another phone with the headphone jack in their next iteration. But still, I want a phone with full keyboard. BlackBerry got me covered. Okay, I won't count that one. I want a power bank attached to a phone. Energizer got me covered. I want a 120Hz Full HD Plus screen, and OnePlus Nord got me covered. I want an all-rounder with insane battery, and I mean insane. Introducing Galaxy M51 with a whopping 7000 mAh battery. It's region locked, but it's gonna be available on AliExpress and some other online retailers soon, so you can still get one. I want a stylus with insanely low latency. Galaxy Note 20 Ultra got me covered. Third advantage is community. Let's say I got Galaxy S3 from like 8-9 years ago. I can still find a custom ROM with the latest security patches and I can install it on my phone. Don't do it, but I love that I have the option. Imagine a secondary device that's just there if you need it. Android is open source, and when your code is open source and your community acts as the programmers, it's a very powerful asset. I want to root my device, same as jailbreak, but way easier and safer if you don't mess with custom recovery options. The good thing is that you don't have to root your device. These are the main upsides of Android, but others include and are not limited to repairability, customizability, competition amongst competitors, platform diversification, and value proposition, value per dollar, that is. Okay, you know, Android is not perfect either. There are some significant downsides to this operating system. First up is inefficient security. Let me explain. I know that Android security is better than ever, and I would even go as far as to say that it rivals iPhone security. We're getting regular updates from major manufacturers, but due to the open source nature of the OS, it's not as tight as the iPhone security. iOS is pretty Loctite, but Android, even though it has Play Protect and Google Play Store security mechanism, it's not as efficient. I mean, you can easily sideload apps, even if they're malicious ones. Again, if you know what you're doing and don't do something incredibly stupid, you'll be fine. Secondly, lack of polish. Devices are coming with great specifications, but from the software side, we can't say the same that all vendors, at least like MUI, ColorOS, Xiaomi's own flavor, they have vastly improved. But if you use Pocophone OS, you'll notice that there are ads on your home screen, ads on your lock screen, and even in your settings. The experience feels childish and not productive. Even Samsung took a long time to introduce One UI. Their previous implementation, TouchWiz, was sluggish and not as efficient. Again, they have come really far, but it's not at iPhone level. Thirdly is the build quality. Need I say more? Apple's build quality is top notch. Get it? Because it's the top notch? Alright, I'll let myself out. Plastic does not feel as good and aluminium does not feel as good as stainless steel. Other disadvantages include, but are not limited to, non-refined ecosystem if there is one, lackluster camera quality, not as good as iPhone, colors are way oversaturated in my opinion, pixel line excluded, lack of software updates, etc. I know Samsung is providing 3 years of updates now with their latest lineups, which is great. And it's the right step in the right direction. These were the ups and downs of both OSs and iDevices, and these are what I was able to observe personally. But of course you can have others ups and downs. Now we come to the section where I explain how iOS versus Android does not matter. Everyone that has a smartphone has a use case. You can have basic use cases like social media, occasional YouTube, picture and video recording, email, online conferencing, chatting, listening to music, etc. These use cases are suited for basic users. If you want something advanced, like customizing and personalizing your experience, your phone, sideloading of apps, installing unauthorized apps, or playing resource-intensive games, or installing custom OSs, these can be described as use cases for advanced users. Now we've got basic users and advanced users, and that's what we should be focusing on. What does our use case look like? Are we basic users or advanced users? And that should influence our decision when we're buying a device. Does this mean advanced users are better than basic users or the other way around? Dear God, no. They're the same users but with different use cases. We should always encourage competition, and yes, it's perfectly fine to point out the rights and wrongs with a particular thing. So we shouldn't say Android is better or iOS is better. You know what's better? We, consumers, are better. And we should take advantage of the competition going on amongst the companies and secure a better deal for ourselves. Now keep an open mind and look for your specific use case. I want to say a special thank you for making it this far. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys later.